Hey, real quick, right before we jump into this video, if you'd do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Also, thank you for subscribing to this channel. If you'd like to be notified of future videos, please hit that bell icon. Have a great day and enjoy this video. At Northern Tier, you will be exposed to the sun a lot. Assuming, of course, it's not raining. So let's think through the environment that you're going to be in. Well, first, you'll be spending a lot of time on the water. On the water means, of course, there are no trees, so there's no shade. And also on the water, not only does the sun's rays come down on you from the heavens above, but also those rays are reflected off of the water and back up onto your body as well. So your time on the water exposes your skin to the sun's rays in those two different ways. And then also, some of the campsites are not well shaded. And that also exposes you to sun. And with all that exposure to the sun's rays comes a need for protecting yourself. So let's talk through sun protection. There are essentially two ways to protect yourself from the sun. First is to wear clothing that protects you from the sun. And then second is sunscreen. Now let's take a deeper look at both of those options. Clothing offers the first and best option for sun protection. So from top to bottom, let's talk about clothing choices. On your head, you need a hat, but not just any hat. From my experience, a wide brim sun hat that has a stiff brim, meaning that the brim isn't blown around by the wind, okay? So you have a wide brim sun hat. That hat also should have a neck lanyard to keep the hat from blowing off of your head when it's windy. Preferably, that hat also offers ventilation because it will be hot. And in a perfect world, this hat would also have a dark color under the brim. This is to keep the reflection down in front of your face. Much like a football player puts black cream on their cheeks, that keeps the sunlight from reflecting back into your eyes. So a hat is a great way to help protect your face. Now let's look at protecting your upper body. A UPF rated, long sleeve, loose fitting, light colored fishing shirt is a great start. From there, consider getting a fishing shirt with a hood, meaning you can pull the hood up and over your head and then put your hat on top of your hoodie, okay? To protect your neck and sides of your face, that's also why you need the hoodie, okay? And the back of your neck. Also, the shirt should be great at managing heat and humidity. So, a tropical fishing shirt is usually great for this. It would also be nice if the shirt had some antimicrobial properties that help keep the stink away. But that's just a bonus. Okay? So that covers the perfect shirt. Now, let's talk about pants. Wearing pants is not only great for protecting your legs from bugs and brush, but also from the sun. My perfect pants would have a UPF rating to offer sun protection. What else do you need for sun protective clothing? Well, paddling gloves. Paddling gloves go a long way in protecting most of your hands, because if they're fingerless, of course, your fingertips are not protected. You need to think through how to protect your eyes from the sun, not only the sun's rays, so protecting them from UVA and B rays, but also from the glint or the reflection of the sunlight off the water back into your pupils. It gets very, very hard on your eyes. So I'd highly recommend that you have some sort of sunglasses to wear, either prescription sunglasses or just regular sunglasses. And then, of course, if you wear contacts or prescription glasses, just make sure they do protect, or sunglasses, just make sure they all protect you from UVA and B rays from the sun. All right, so that covers sun protective clothing. Now let's talk about sunscreen. Sunscreen is a second choice for sun protection. Your sunscreen needs to have a UPF rating of at least 30. Your sunscreen also needs to be a lotion, no aerosol cans which can rupture and break. Now when you pack your sunscreen, your lotion sunscreen, put that tube inside of a Ziploc bag. This way, if the dry bag or the tube gets squashed and sunscreen squirts out, it stays inside the Ziploc bag and not made a mess of the inside of your dry bag. So how much sunscreen do you need? Well, if you're using all the sun protective clothing I've recommended, you will only need sunscreen for the front and sides of your face. Don't forget under your nose and your chin, because remember, sun reflects off of the water. You're going to need to protect your ears, your neck on the front and the back, and also your fingertips. So, with all that, you're only going to need a few small dollops of sunscreen for each application. If you're only using that small amount needed, and you're not being wasteful, from my experience, you will need 1 ounce of sunscreen for every 4 to 5 days on the water. Yep, that's it. Now, if you're wasteful, well, then you could use as much sunscreen as you wanted, but you don't need that much. Sunscreen goes a long way. Okay? Now, let's talk about carrying individual portions of sunscreen versus having communal portions of sunscreen. Communal portion meaning you have 1 bottle that the crew shares for the whole trip. Now think through this with me and be patient, because for some, this is going to go way beyond everything they traditionally have done in the past. The problem with communal sunscreen portions is, well, first and foremost, you only usually have 1 container of sunscreen. If you mess up that 1 container, then possibly no one has sunscreen anymore. Okay, so there's no redundancy against failure. Second, this means that 1 container also needs to be accessible during the day. Third, unless you are careful in how you dispense the sunscreen, you could be sharing a communicable illness. Fourth, everyone has to access the sunscreen at basically the same time, which means they're not able to continue doing whatever it is they're doing to help the crew out, like maybe packing up their stuff. Everybody's got to get together, put on the sunscreen, and then go back to what they're doing. So it's kind of an inefficient use of your time. And fifth, there is no individual responsibility or accountability for keeping up with their own sunscreen and using their own sunscreen and not being wasteful. Okay, so enough about sunscreen. Along with sunscreen, you need to make sure you put sunscreen on your lips as well. So a high quality lip balm or chapstick type lotion or paste that you can put on your lips to protect your lips from being sunburned. You really need to think about that. The last thing you want to do is burn your lips and then end up having to manage that on your trip. So to close, sun protection is very important. If you don't protect yourself from the sun and you get sunburn, you're going to have a miserable trip. But if you prepare yourself, wear the right clothing, and use sunscreen appropriately, you're going to have a great trip. And with that, have a blessed day.